Onir, I know you certainly have made films about this and certainly have raised awareness of this whole issue. And I'm just wondering, what is your reaction to this ruling that we heard?
You know, yesterday I was at a panel discussion like this, and there were 5 other people, everyone discussing why it is difficult for the Supreme Court, different things about culture. And I was sitting and looking at them and thinking that why is it this all 5 people sitting there have more rights as a human being, as a citizen in the world's largest democracy, where I'm supposed to be an equal citizen. And it is a basic thought that why is someone more equal than me? Why is someone entitled to decide how I should lead my life? Why does me wanting certain rights threaten someone because it's me? I'm not taking away anyone else's right. And all these excuses of culture, tradition, history, science, religion, I feel fall flat, because I think what matters most is humanity. And for me, it's the cisgendered world which has failed to become better, which has failed to prove itself that it can be more human in accepting us, who they look at as the other, for just being able to accept our love and happiness.
Onir, I mean, it's in Parliament's court now. How much confidence do you have that they will reflect the view that you've just espoused, or will they really pander in an upcoming election year to some of the, let's say, more conservative elements of Indian society, especially as you have a government which is nationalist and right-leaning?
So the Parliament is basically, majority is the government right now, and they are the ones who are vehemently opposing same-sex marriage in the court. So I don't see how they're going to change their stand in the Parliament. And also at the end of the day, we don't have any representation there, hardly any allies. So it is a Parliament where I see that there is a lot of homophobic men there deciding on what should be quote unquote allowed to us, how much of freedom is okay. You know, it's like yesterday, even the entire judgment felt like, okay, you were invited for dinner, and at the end of it they said, sorry, you know, that's not happening. Why don't you have some dessert and leave and be happy about it?
Well, at least you get dessert. Can you appeal this decision in any way, shape or form here, Onir?
I feel that when the court has already said that, you know, it's not in its purview, one is wondering why was it entertained for the last 8 months if it is something that the court can do nothing about. But I think we have faced these kind of hurdles before. You know, in 2013, when the Supreme Court overruled the Delhi High Court ruling, and we appealed again, and we fought, and it took us till 2018 to be decriminalized. And I think that, you know, our dreams and hopes and aspirations towards equality is bigger than this hurdle, and we will fight for it, and we will appeal again. And I don't think this is the end of the road. It is just that how long does one wait, and why does one have to fight for something so basic?
There was some development, though, when it came to, you know, this direction for the federal government to form this panel, Onir, to examine issues concerning the queer community. Can we take that as a positive development?
You know, we don't know who this panel will be. You know, one, there is no time frame line. And with the election coming up, I don't think this will be the priority of the state at all. So it means that our lives will be on hold till someone thinks that, okay, now we need to talk about them. It's been like, why are we, for me, the question is, why are we always being made to wait? You know, because it is that we are always seen that as this is not as important as 10 other issues.
Right, well, of course, it leaves you despondent. It leaves you perhaps bereft of hope, but there must be hope. And where do you go next as a movement here to have your rights actually acknowledged?
I feel, of course, me as a filmmaker, I continue, one of my tools is my art, is my cinema, and I keep telling the stories, and the stories that I tell reflect the desire, the aspirations of the community, and also the challenges that we face. It's always done that, and I'll continue to do that. Apart from, of course, all of us, you know, meeting, because this is just sinking in now. It's been so disappointing since yesterday that it's still sinking in, and then we, of course, have to study it properly and figure out the next steps.
Yeah.
But like I mentioned, that our dreams cannot be crushed and it cannot stop because it's greater, and the movement will go on towards equality.
And Onir, I'm just wondering. I mean, obviously, you as a filmmaker, you've explored same-sex marriages. You've made 2 films, very famous ones in your country. And I'm just wondering the impact this is going to have. I mean, the changes that you're seeing on the ground, right? I think before, maybe up until recently, people would take part in pride parades and hide their identities in some ways. How do you think public opinion has changed in the last few years?
I think after 2018, when the court decriminalized homosexuality, it's not that things would, change overnight, but every year I see more and more pride marches happening across the country in smaller towns and cities. And at the end of the day, more and more people coming out, because once you're empowered by law and not treated as criminals, I feel society is also willing to take that one more step and listen to you, give you a voice. And I feel that has happened after 2018. I feel very disappointed with the tone of the entire judgment yesterday, because everywhere when it comes out in print, everywhere it's like the Supreme Court rejects. Now the word reject is such a huge, it's highlighted in a way where you feel that people who are homophobic, people who are arguing against us, uses that word, that this community, their aspiration, their demand has been outright rejected. They don't read into the rest of the details, so it becomes a negative tag, which again is something one has to fight and overcome. But like I mentioned, we have done this before. But I was really hoping, because we are the largest democracy in the world, represent 16% of the world's population, and if the Supreme Court had taken a stand, it would send a message to queer rights activists across the world that this is possible. So it's not only disappointing for us, it's disappointing for everybody.